road has ended. Our travel on buses and trains and planes stopped. And here we are, ready for the next leg of the journey up over the mountains into France. Now it's time for some lunch. Over into France. They're changing the long sleeves here on the top of the mountain. The view is amazing. Stunning. France, Pyrenees. We're just finishing up the last couple of miles from day one, where the bus dropped us off at the end of the line. We were the only ones on the bus, and we got off, started our 6-day hike in the Pyrenees. After how many buses and trains did we take?
We got 1 train and 2 buses, 2 flights. Wow. We're glad to start hiking today.
It was time. Now we'll be ready to be finished today. Some awesome sights along the way. We had a net downhill today, which was probably a good way to finish up the first day. This backpack feels like 50 or 60 pounds. How heavy is yours, Andrew?
Oh, it's probably a little under 20 pounds.
Really? Whoa. We went to the supermarket, bought some pasta and peas for supper.
Had
bread.
Classic PB&J for lunch.
Nice.
It was good.
Quite the sights. Quite the lovely views. We'll just keep walking. We're on the road this morning, 8:30, trying to get an early start. They say there's rain in the forecast, although the sky looks really pretty blue. Leaving the quaint little town of Gabas, France. And Andrew's got a good hike for us today as we continue our journey. What do we got today?
We got like 10 miles.
10 miles.
I think we're going to have the most elevation gain for all the days.
Like 10 miles uphill the whole way.
Something like that.
Well,
it'll be a workout.
As we're walking, we know we're leaving behind the sound of the cows and their bells out in the open fields. The other thing we're going to look forward to today is seeing an old passenger train high up in the mountains. I think you need to take a cable car to get to. Then we'll see. Hopefully the rain will hold off. till tonight. There are other ways to get to the top of the mountain than walking. We just climbed a pretty good ascent up to the top of the reservoir where we thought would be all underwater in this little small ski town of Fabergé. But they're working. Inside the reservoir, it's all empty. And now we're preparing for the next steep leg of the journey, getting some nice flat miles in here before the work begins. Andrew, you're sure these trails were all trafficked on all trails?
We'll find out.
They look pretty steep and rugged. Hopefully they're not just access roads for a creek or pipeline. Time for some fuel for the final push. How many? We did about 2,500 feet of elevation already. Something like that, Andrew, would you say? I think we crested 662. We started at 42. We have maybe another 1,000, 1,500 feet to go. Right up the pass between the two mountain ranges. This cabin is a godsend. Out of the wind and the cold. It's cold out there. And it's time for some nourishment. Maybe even an ibuprofen. Take the inflammation away. And help us get through the next leg of the journey. How's it going, Andrew?
We're getting there.
Change into some long pants here for the next leg because we've just about reached the top of the first peak today, and then we have a little downhill and
back up again,
and
then down.
I don't know how they got all this material up here, but we're sure glad they did. It's amazing. Wow, that refuge shelter was perfect. Our friend Denny from Czech Republic.
Hey yo, what's up?
We changed some gear. We're going to go up over the mountain where Denny came from. We're heading back to where we were yesterday.
Nice and windy.
Just starting to rain. We better keep moving.
Marvelous. Good luck.
Yeah. All right. I turned my camera on to see how silly we look trying to hike in the rain and stay dry, at least to keep our coffee and sleeping bag a little dry, but it may not work. Still going up. We left lost cow back at the pond 2,000 feet below. We got a little grassy meadow valley reprieve between our two peaks. Staying dry, Andrew?
Not really. Still raining.
Still raining.
Waterproof only does so much.
But we're making it through the rain, staying on the trail, thanks to those cairns. And they're a gift, especially when you're going through the valleys and there's not much of a path. Then we get a bit more of a path here. Definitely cold, definitely wet. Definitely some challenging hiking, and we gotta head straight ahead up that next section there. Just leaving our refuge de Laria. Laria, Andrew?
Larabet.
Larabet. A day late, but rested. We'll talk more about yesterday when we have a flat spot to process all that we've been through. Now that the sun has finally broken through, we are ready to take off a few layers and maybe even unpack our reason why we're a day behind schedule. What happened out there on the mountain?
It was rugged terrain, not what we were expecting. We're off the main path on the side path, which we thought would be a shortcut and easier, but it turned out to be a much more difficult path than we were thinking it was.
The weather didn't help us.
The weather was
terrible, and then it got colder and colder, and my legs were like jelly. I don't know if I was hyperventilating or just experiencing hypothermia. I could hardly walk. We would stop. We were off the route, and we would try for looking at directions, and I'd take my glove off, and my hands would start shaking, and my legs would start shaking, and I could hardly get started again. And we still had way too far to go.
Felt like we were never getting closer
Maybe
to the lodge, and it just kept raining. We kept getting more wet. And
maybe the details of that leg will speak for themselves. 10 miles, 11 hours, and our elevation gain. We had 2 peaks we went over. We should have never been out there on the edge of cliffs, hanging for our dear lives without any soul around. What was our altitude gain? 6,700 feet or something like that over the course of the last 7 miles, I'd say, something like that. And terrible.
No, we were out there without any signs of life.
Not another soul around.
You could only see the lodge in the last 5 minutes of the hike, and it was getting darker, and it was a very welcome sight to get there.
And at one point, just to tell you how steep the elevation was, we were on these rocky cliffs that I was on my hands and almost all fours, and I couldn't go. I kept pushing rocks down, and at one point Andrew was about 100 feet down. We were going down, and I somehow dislodged a boulder about the size of a soccer ball, and it started rolling and then bouncing, and it was heading right for Andrew. And I yelled, "You put your hands up," and it was bouncing. Did you see it go?
It was, I think I could have touched it. It was close.
It was way too close for comfort.
Way too fast for me.
And it was going 100 miles an hour at that point.
For me to react.
But we did experience some awesome hospitality and refuge in the lodge.
Yeah. Really, really great hospitality, amazing food, great people.
The people were great.
And
what did we have for supper last night?
We had duck, we had confit, potatoes, and wild mushrooms cooked in duck.
That were foraged that day, cooked in duck fat, topped off with
little
fromage, cheese, and bread, homemade bread,
and little chocolate cups
tarts
that were out of this world. They were amazing.
Chocolate tarts with almonds on the top. Amazing.
We were treated very well. Great people, and we got the sun today, and I think we're back in good spirits.
Our bodies have healed, but more than that, so have our minds and emotions. This is just amazing, Andrew. That's why we came here. Everywhere we look is just the breathtaking view. This is not Morewood. And we're not going to see this for a long time. It's just incredible. 360-degree views from the valley. It makes our day of rest worth it. Andrews, for hikers in recovery, how about this day? How about this view?
This makes it all worth it. All the hard hiking, the day of rest, staying in the lodge, holding out hope for a sunny day.
Reservations that we didn't fulfill.
And
it's okay. We're alive. The sun is shining.
We're soaking it in today. It's beautiful.
You gotta love switchbacks. They really do save you. We could have used some the other day. Well-marked trail helps too. That's where we came from. That's where we're going. Closer to heaven. One more switchback. Almost 5 miles of walking, 3.5 hours. 1,500 feet elevation gain.
And now it's time for some lunch.
What a beautiful spot. After our lunch this afternoon, our work is to take that path right over those mountains, through the hollow, back into Spain. When you travel a well-marked and well-traveled trail like this, makes you glad for the many thousands of pilgrims that have traveled these roads and have created those switchbacks over there, Andrew. We got more switchbacks to go. Found at least some of the notches where we don't have to go all the way up to the highest points to get to the other side. Where's all that water coming from? Inside the mountain. Number 6. Last of 10.
Not up yet.
Oh. We may have just about reached our elevation for the day. At maybe 7,500 feet. We're going to shoot this pass over into Spain. Just an amazing hike today. After being in the valley of the shadow of death, where we did fear some evil, we're grateful for a day like today. There's a group of hikers taking the path that Andrew had designed for us yesterday to go over to Cataray across this 8,000 foot elevation peak. They're doing it the right way. They're together in a group and We're at 6.5 miles, and that would have been a 20-mile day. Would have probably taken us 15 to 16 hours. We're grateful to be heading this direction over the border of Spain. The switchbacks are a lot easier going this direction. So Andrew, we've had another change of plans. We had reservations at Refugio Raspamuso. Is that what it was?
Yeah, something like that.
But how many people are staying there tonight?
Like 70 some people.
70 people.
It seemed loud. It didn't seem very,
They were having a
we'd get a lot of rest there.
party. Looked like fun.
We're feeling good, so we're just gonna keep on trekking
How far?
another 6.5 miles into town. Should be all downhill, but we'll see.
Into the town of what? Salient.
Gallego, something like that.
We'll give you more information when we get there.
We hope they have spots for us to stay.
And we hope they have Wi-Fi so we can be in touch with the family who may be worried about us since we've not been able to check in. We've been off the grid for 2 or 3 days and we haven't had any connection with the outside world. We take a lot for granted. We found a great place to stay last night in this quaint little town of, say it Andrew,
Saliente Gallego.
Saliente Gallego. Right, the foothills of the Pyrenees. After a lovely 15-miler yesterday in about 9 hours, we have another 15-miler lined up today to head over to another town where we're going to get a bus back to Jaca. Where is that, Andrew?
Canfanc-Estacion.
We're following the GR11 trail, which is basically go across the northern edge of Spain from coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast, weaves in and out of the Pyrenees and then out to the Atlantic. We're taking a 15-mile section of it today. The GR10, which we were on over in France, does the same thing on the French side of the Pyrenees. Looks like a lovely day. The sun is out, shining on the peaks. Let's go. Lovely Sunny Sunday. Sun just came over the mountains behind us at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's all uphill the first half. Second half is all down. We're heading to another quaint little Spanish town of Formigal, where hopefully it levels off. We need a change of clothes as we started at about 45 degrees this morning, and it's warming up with the elevation quite quickly. This is our hottest day yet. Gonna have to hydrate up over the mountain. We thought we reached the top, only to look behind us, the direction we're heading. How's everything feeling, Andrew?
Not bad.
Your feet feel good?
For the most part.
Most important part of your body. That and your lungs. Lungs feeling good?
Yeah, a little lower elevation today. Able to breathe a little better. Nice sunny day. It's been good.
Bon voyage. We reached the top. Almost. More than 8 miles, Andrew, since we left the hotel this morning. 3,400 feet of elevation gain. We're only halfway done. What time is it?
Time for lunch.
It is. They say this is a glacial lake. It doesn't look as nice and clear as some of the glacial lakes that we've seen before, but it's a lovely spot. That was an amazing descent we just came down, fast and furious, from the top rim, incredible, into a spacious open valley. 5 mile, never-ending valley. We're trying to leave as soon as possible in order to try to make the 4:15 bus back to Jaca out of Canfanc-Estacion. Just when you thought you were down, it's a long way to go. A little war wound from looking at my phone and map. But we made it, Andrew.
We made it.
We made it.
Claro, tiene que decir de dónde es. Sí, lo tiene que decir.
Estacion with 10 minutes to spare. How good does it feel to sit down? It's unbelievable how good this feels. What were our stats today?
We had like 16 miles, just over 16 miles, 3,500 feet of elevation,
And we,
in like 6 hours of moving time.
that's amazing. Nice work. We
Got a
will.
little trail running there.
We got a little rammy to try to catch a
beat the
bus.
and we made it.
But somebody had to be looking at their phone for directions in the map, and that stone that I stubbed my toe on didn't move. Put me flat on my face. Unbelievable, but thankfully it's not too bad. Where are we heading?
Heading to Jaca for some rest and food, and maybe even some laundry.
That would be awesome. After some strenuous days of hiking, some trail running with a backpack to try to catch a bus to Jaca, just taking it easy today, started in Jaca with a egg and ham croissant and coffee, and now we're walking on the Camino del Santiago. There's a couple of different streams of the Camino that go into Santiago, the way of St. James. We're on the French way, just started on the trail in Jaca, and what a lovely day, and what a lovely walk to see the countryside. You sleep good last night, Andrew?
Yeah, slept great.
How's your legs?
It hurts. It's nice to be walking without a backpack today.
Oh, it's beautiful. Except I've got a major blister on my heel from my shoes and the difficult terrain we've been through. This is healing for the soul and the body. We got off the Camino to head back to Jaca through a series of other little trails that appeared on our All Trails app. It's been a great couple of days, Andrew. Thanks for your awesome planning and work and navigating the nice loop we did in the Pyrenees.
Not
Awesome.
quite how we drew it up, but we pivoted and made the most of it. It was a good trip.
We learned a few things about hiking out of the country, and hiking off-road on unnavigated trails. Learn that the mountaintop isn't always the best view. Anything else?
It's most of it.
Awesome to be part of this trip. Thanks for your hard work and planning. Now we're gonna head back to, where are we going? Jaca. Catch a bus to Saragossa, overnight there, and then taking a high-speed train back to Barcelona tomorrow, where we connect with Juan.